What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. And we're bringing a guest back from a while ago. You see him, and the fingers don't even match how much this man can do. Competitive eater, pro bodybuilder. I mean, the list can go on and on. You see him, muscles out, shades on, mustache up. Bartley Weaver. How we doing today, sir?
What's up, Teddy? It's been several years. I think last time we did it, I was living in Kentucky. So I'm down here. I've been in Tampa for a few years now. So it's we've got a lot to catch up on.
And a big thing that just kind of happened, what, 4 months ago, the Pittsburgh Pro, man. What the heck? How was
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it was incredible. We've talked in the past about competing with the best athlete
Mhm.
in the sport that I was in. The Nathan's hot dog eating contest, competing with Joey Chestnut. I mean, that's you know what else can you ask for to play one on one with MJ or what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what my boy Derek Lunsford, Mr. Olympia, he was locked in, going to do it. I knew it months before it was announced, and of course I did the Detroit Pro. That was my Open Pro debut this year in March. So I was kind of getting lean with him, getting ready for the Arnold Classic. And then I was like, you know what? I think I can hang in there with him, just to say I competed with the best bodybuilder in the world too. You know what I'm saying? And so it was a heck of a year so far. I can't wait to see how it finishes.
And you looked phenomenal. Arguably at one of the best looks you've brought to the stage since I've been following
Yeah,
you. Peeled, just on point, and really held your own, like you mentioned, with the best of the best, and arguably, well, the best in Derek Lunsford.
right.
What did you learn about yourself in this kind of prep for the Pittsburgh Pro? Obviously, I always love to ask bodybuilders. I feel like you dig deep in prep, and especially this one. What did you kind of learn about yourself? Was there a mantra, Bartley, or what was that all like?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm super blessed and grateful to be doing what I'm doing. I used to be a state trooper for 7 years in Kentucky. 10 years law enforcement experience, and I turned pro while I was doing all that. So I've never had the chance to like go all in full bodybuilding lifestyle. So now that I'm down in Tampa, it was full bodybuilding lifestyle every day. I love it. It's what I grew up watching, what I grew up, you know, kind of visualizing, and we made it happen. It was my pro debut in classic was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Wow.
So I got 5 classic pro shows in, and then my appetite, Teddy. Once
Yes,
you
I
get the
do.
once you get the raccoon rolling, he's hard to stop. So I couldn't make my weight cap anymore, and I've always, you know, the past the last 3 years of me in the classic division, I was like suffering and having to pull off some muscle there last minute, and I couldn't ever present my best at that 240 weight cap that I had. So, took 3 years off, put the work in. I just want to encourage people that don't rush it. This is just, fall in love with the process, because this process is going to go on for a long time as long as you can stay healthy. And competing is kind of just a byproduct of my passion in the gym and what I love to do. So I was just super grateful this go around, because, I got to lock in. I got my house here in Tampa, and I got all my recovery modalities, and just being able to really lock in and truly enjoy the process. And I can, without a doubt, saying it was the best time I've ever had on a bodybuilding stage. I'm up there, come out next to Nick Walker. Everybody's yelling for Nick Walker coming out to Pittsburgh Pro, and I come out right beside him because I'm trying to ride the hype too. I'm like, come on, baby, let's go.
Wow. Now that's got to be incredible. I mean, what did you tell yourself on kind of those hard days during prep? Um, Obviously, again, I just want to stress this. This is one of your
Right.
best looks. You pushed yourself. I mean,
Thank you.
and in bodybuilding, that's just the nature of the game. What did you tell yourself on these kind of hard days? Obviously, you talk. You train with Derek. You live in Tampa. Everything's kind of changed since we last talked. How do you kind of navigate those hard days that you have on prep, Bartley?
Well, honestly, you know, not many people get to do this. You know, I kind of put my faith in God
Yep.
that led me down here and lined the stars up perfectly to do what I did this year, you know. So every day where I would start to, you know, question myself or starting to struggle with a diet or something like that, I just remember that I don't have to do this. I actually get to do this. Like what a blessing. What an honor to be able to watch these YouTube shows like yours and people are breaking down the projections of the show, and this is like stuff that I would normally watch anyway. So I'm like actually watching something that I'm involved in. It's kind of just like truly living the dream, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think God is good for that, and you're blessed on that. Now, how do you balance kind of striving for, I guess, perfection while accepting that the process is really never finished, and you're still getting that physique where you want to be? I mentioned you at one of the best looks, but the best is still
Right.
yet to come, in my opinion, for you.
Right.
How do you balance that aspect of the sport?
Yeah, like I said, you have to fall in love with the
Yeah.
gym. You know, that I'm old enough now, be 37 next week, that I actually started before social media, you
Wow.
know, and a lot of the kids coming up now, you know, you got all that pressure, and sometimes people get in it for the wrong reasons. You know, I got in because it was all about self improvement for me. It's self mastery. It's something that you'll never completely figure out your body, but there's so much gratification in learning it and going through the trials and tribulations and you know being able to persevere and come out the other side.
And again, you just stepped on the stage with two of the best in the game. Now, the Olympia is coming up. Are you going to it?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
we got
sir.
we got something a little crazy planned. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but
Oh,
oh yeah, we got the Extreme Eating Championships coming, the first ever eating contest at the Olympia. So I'm promoting it. So so it's going to be yeah, we got some big eaters that are going to be coming in, some of the best eaters in the world, and I'm going to try to put some top influencers on stage as well. That way they can get the social media bragging rights, and I got the championship belt ready.
wow.
We're going to have some cash money too, so it's going to be crazy, and I'm going to do my best to put on a show. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to do something like this. You know what I mean? I never would have imagined it.
Yeah. And obviously, Dan's a good friend of our show. Dan
Yeah,
Solomon, shout out Dan, great guy, one of the best.
it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Dan. So I'm super grateful for him.
Yeah, Dan's fellow Orioles fan on that. Now, unbiased. I want to hear your top five for the Open. Who do you have? And this doesn't have to be a particular order. Just top five.
Um, is Hottie going to make it or not?
I think he is. Yes.
I think it's definitely um, top five, no order. Him, it's Hottie, Derek, Samson, Nick, and who's going to crack that fifth spot?
You got Andrew and Martin as your final five, probably.
Hmm. I'm thinking Andrew.
Hmm.
That's that's a crazy top five in my opinion. That you got the tall guys, you got the short guys, you got Nick's in there in the middle, mass monster. You know, I think that would be it's going to be awesome, one of the best ever. I know we keep saying that every year, but
Yeah.
we keep getting some new talent in.
Well, this year I think there's going to be four Mr. Olympias in it. You got Big Ramy, who I think is returning. You
Is
got
he going to
Derek.
do it?
I think he is. You got Derek,
Awesome.
Adi, and then Brandon Curry. So that's four Mr. Olympias who are competing in the Open. That's crazy. That's
That's
absolutely nuts. Now, how's T Fuel doing? I've seen you guys been blowing up. How's everything going with that?
everything's going good, man. We finally got some more SKUs out there. You know, that way I could incorporate a lot of the other things that I find very important, especially when it comes to gut health and digestion. For me as a pro eater and pro bodybuilder, if your gut's not in check, then you can't do either one of them. So it's super important to be able to utilize everything that you're putting in, especially when you're doing 20,000 calorie challenges like me. You need a little you need a little help on the back end there. But yeah, they've got a bunch of different SKUs now. tfuelsubs.com. Got everything that I take, everything from the basics to the digestion stuff, performance, got protein powder and everything. So it's been fun, just incorporating everything that I used daily, for the YouTube channel. Make sure people kind of see what I do and why I'm doing it. It's always more fun when it's your own brand.
And do you see T Fuel ever going into the retail stores, or is it already in a retail store?
It's online only right now. We're primarily in that space right now. But I wouldn't be opposed to, I've thought about trying to get into like a Whole Foods and, some healthy grocery stores like that. I think would be a great addition for my fiber greens. Everybody needs some fiber greens.
I was going to ask that, kind of next. Where do you see T Fuel in 5 years, Bartley?
In 5 years, well, so I started it 5 years ago.
Wow.
I started it 5 years ago during the pandemic when everything shut down, and my episode on the Titan Games with The Rock. That's when I launched it. So I think it was Memorial Day 2020. Yeah, Memorial Day 2020 when I came out with it. So it's been 5 years, and it's been a blessing. It's not a main source of income, but it's always, the thing about it for me is I'm taking what I need and what I want. Okay. But I'm also I'm able to help other people in the process. And that's the most fulfilling part for me. Like I never dreamed of it, being the next big supplement company, but you know what? People that trust the brand and have tried it are going to keep coming back. And, I want to get as many people subscribed to some of the gut health products on there because, if you read the reviews, it's helping people with all different kinds of issues, so I love to see that part. And I think that's, my role in pushing T Fuel is just to help as many people as possible.
100%. And first 5 people to follow Bartley, send me a screenshot. You'll be entered in a drawing to win a T Fuel product because it is the best in the game. Let's just say it how it is.
So,
Now, turning that question to you, Bartley, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And the reason I ask is because you do so many things from the competitive eating to the bodybuilding to the entrepreneur to social media. What do you see yourself doing in 5 years? If you've thought about it yet, I'm just wondering.
well, I start to think about it, but then I start thinking too hard, and I just lean on God, and I know
Mhm.
that His plan is best for me.
Yeah.
And if I remain in Him, um, then He'll lead me to the right place. That's like this whole journey. I've never known what I wanted to do, which
Yeah.
is crazy. When I graduated from college, I had a criminal justice degree, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I'm like, all right, let's jump in where we can and start paying the bills, and constantly trying to improve, better myself, and then when I got down here, it's like sometimes I forget that I did all that stuff.
Mhm.
It's like I've lived so many different lives that was like one big, huge chapter, and now I'm kind of on the next chapter. And, I think I find a lot of purpose in, we've got a men's group in Tampa that meets in my backyard. And, I mean, if nothing else, if I'm leading people in the right direction, wherever He wants to take me, that's where I'll go. And I just continue to give Him glory and give Him all the honor and praise for getting me this far, because literally I've lived like most people's dreams probably at this point, and I have no idea where it's going, but I'm excited because it's always something, seems like.
100%. Now, how do you trust in God from getting that criminal justice degree to where you are now? How kind of do you trust his path, letting knowing that it would work out and lead you to where you are today?
Well, I think my faith has grown over the years, with
Yeah.
different trials and tribulations. It draws you nearer to Him and you learn more about Him and you try to be more like Him. That way you're on the right path. And yeah, it's been a beautiful process. There's been some scary times. There was, I took a vice president role in a telehealth company. That's kind of why I resigned from the state police, because I had this other venture that could possibly lead to more. So I went with it. Well, it fell out during COVID. So, here I am. I thought this was the answered prayer out of the law enforcement. God bless the blue and everybody who serves. You're awesome. And I pray for you all the time. But after 10 years of it, I just felt like I was being called to do something else. And I didn't know what it was, but I kept praying about it. Well, one night I prayed about it in the middle of the night. I woke up the next morning. I had that job opportunity. I'm like, oh, the prayer was answered that fast. Are you kidding me? You know,
Yeah.
and, but what it was is God was taking me from A to B to trust it to get to C, and I'm kind of at C now. And, just being patient and enjoying every day of every season, honestly. I'm blessed to be doing what I love. As long as I'm working out and eating, I'm having a good time.
And I was gonna say, when's the next eating competition?
Well, see, I'm putting most of my effort into the organization of, this Olympia eating contest, because it's going to be pretty big. But once we confirm some food sponsors, I might have to get the camera out and get some unique food challenge content, pump up the contest.
And I was showing my buddy that video of you drinking 2 gallons in what 2 minutes, and he's like, "That's dangerous." Like, it, Bartley's saying it's dangerous. He's a professional. I mean, he's acknowledging that.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
how
that
he did that.
that was the peak of my training in for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. So in 2022, I ate, I think it was something weak. It was like 23 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. And, I was stretching my stomach a little bit, but I wasn't really pushing it, just because I was scared, of what you hear. You poison yourself, you could die, all this stuff. But when you're around some of the top guys in the sport, you kind of pick their brain of what has worked for them, what have they done. There's no books on this stuff, really. It's all kind of like trial and error, which is even crazier. And so, yeah, my best chug time was, for a gallon, was 23 seconds. The best ever, I would say, would be 2.5 gallons in a minute 45. I remember that was cooking. So, so that was even more than that video I posted, but I don't know if I've got it on camera or not. And then my highest capacity was 3 gallons in 7 minutes. And that was, I mean, that was scary. I felt like the water was going up to my eyeballs, bro. It had about this much left for my head popped.
I gotta say, Bartley is a professional underdog talk. Do not do that at
Yeah,
all.
don't do it, guys. There's tricks to the trade.
And I want to talk about the someone you've been training with and you've grown really close with. And speaking of iron sharpens iron, Derek Lunsford. How did you guys meet? What was the story behind you guys meeting and obviously becoming training partners?
Yeah, what's crazy, man, is I was visiting for like a week during my birthday. Uh, like, it ended up being like 3 weeks later. I moved down after my visit. I had such an awesome time, and I met up with Derek. We went to church. We trained legs. We We went to all you can eat sushi. I was like, man, that was a heck of a day, bro. I don't know if tomorrow can get any better. And then the next day, I was hanging out with my buddy Chef Irvine at the pool on the beach, and he's encouraged me to come down. And then the last day, God rest his soul, Hulk Hogan, baby. I was able to hang out with him on my birthday, and we did karaoke, in front of Hulk Hogan. And he told me, he said, "You gotta come down here, brother." He's like, "It's the best thing I ever did." So I was like, man, I've got 30 legends telling me I need to get down here, and I've had a pretty good time. And to be honest with you, I'm an outside swole stroll walker, and I got to have the sunshine out, and I love Kentucky. I like the Four Seasons, but and it people ask me, man, how do you like it? My Kentucky buddies back home, how do you like it, man? It's like vacation every day. That feeling when you drive down and you start to smell the water and you got the palm trees blowing, you're like, oh yeah, it's vacation.
Yeah.
And I still get that, I went to Derek's gym, a couple hours ago, and you got to go over the bridge to St. Pete, and you're just looking at the water the whole time. I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. So yeah, met Derek in the gym, and I felt like a Holy Spirit connection when I was talking to him. And, God later, revealed to me that I was going to help him win the Olympia. And like I told Derek, I was like, hey, sometimes I get these visions, man. I've had, 3 or 4 that I can distinctly describe. And that was one of them. And it happened. It came to fruition. So I know that it was from God. So it was awesome.
What is it like training with Derek Lunsford? Is the first question for you, Bartley.
I haven't hit it much with him this prep. All the past preps, the past 2.5 years, we're on a little bit different time schedules now because I'm training some people at my gym, backyard gym. It's nothing like his, but it's got a mango tree in the backyard. It's always fun to get you some post-workout carbs for free, But when me and Derek trained, I tried to train harder than him. He tried to train harder than me, and it was brutal. And we had some awesome trainers come in. We had Chris Cormier come in. We had Pacho come in, and those will go down, for me, the hardest training days of my career, probably. Because, we pushed it. And he was trying to take the title. So you got to,
And that leads me into my next question. What is someone who's been with Derek, close with Derek, what makes Derek Lunsford so unique, so special, and so dangerous?
Well, being a man of God, you always got that cornerstone, that no matter what happens, no matter if you lose Olympia, no matter if you win it, you've got that purpose and you've got that why. And I think when you've got that why as your drive, then you can push further than most. You know what I mean? And he's got a lot going on right now. Got the gym. I tell him everything now is just icing on a cake, brother. You've already won it. You've got an amazing family. You've got this awesome gym. You got awesome sponsors. Life is good. But he still has that drive. He wants it. He definitely wants it back after last year, and then coming out hot this year.
And did you celebrate with Derek after he won in 2023?
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
I can't remember. I think we ate Cheesecake Factory. That's our favorite.
That's
we
a
love
good
cheesecake.
That's a good one.
You can't go wrong Cheesecake Factory, bro. There's so many options.
100% now.
And the bread's good. The bread, sometimes I don't even eat cheesecake. I eat so much bread. I'm like, well, I better not. I've already had 6 loaves.
cheesecake is really good. Now,
Yeah.
is that your favorite meal after a show? Cheesecake?
Let's see. I'm a big pizza guy. I
Mm.
love pizza, man. It's I will blow up the next day, but I'll be hard and full as nails for a couple days. And I love cookies. I can go to town on cookies. Um, I try to not do that much dairy this year. I think I might have had a little bitty cup of ice cream, but honestly, when we were in Detroit, I had a food challenge at a Persian restaurant at a Middle Eastern joint in Detroit, and then for Pittsburgh, I had a big pizza feast lined up at this restaurant. So the fun thing for me is like, part of what I do is like restaurant promos for different places.
Okay.
So it's like I actually get to go in there, try all the food. Basically I'm just like, hey, load the table up, baby. Whatever looks good and whatever you want me to eat and love, put it on the table. And they bring it out and I always see if I can finish it. And it's always fun, man. And then you get the good content out of it too. So, being the pro eater, you got to get the content, man. That's what it's all about.
Wow. It sounds like a dream job to
Yeah. Hey,
do.
you need to go to the Olympia, man. We'll have to find us something to eat.
Yeah. Now, what has bodybuilding taught you outside the gym, Bartley? Um, what has it taught you outside of the gym?
Well, I mean, it probably instilled discipline, before anything else did in my life. Just being able to see the fruit of your labor. You get out what you put in. That the gym has been awesome for me because it's the one place I can go every day, and I know I'm going to feel good when I'm in there, and I'm going to feel even better when I leave. You know what I mean? So it's always kind of been like a little hour therapy every day, little iron therapy. Now, when me and Derek were training back in 23, I mean, we had some 3 hour leg days, but that's some extra therapy on them days.
And I really want to. This is a deep question. Do you ever struggle with body composition or body image, even as a pro?
I think I think, I don't, it's hard not to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because we're always trying to hone certain details and you want to cap the shoulders and you want to make the triceps pop off the back of the arm. You know, you can definitely, you're not always going to look like you're going to look, getting ready for a show. Obviously, taking more stuff, more intense cardio, less calories. I mean, it brings out a lot of details. But I've I've come to have a lot more peace here lately, and and it's more than just looks. I've had bunches. This year, I tried to have every possible scan that you can have done. I wanted the GI, I wanted all the heart stuff, I wanted, I've been getting blood work every 2, 3 months, and just really uh, focusing on longevity, because if you're not healthy, then you can't do this forever, So that's something that I've always been fortunate enough to have some good people on my side where I can stay on top of my blood work because, you know, that's huge. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are scared to check it. I mean, I would check it 2 weeks. I checked my blood work 2 weeks before Pittsburgh Pro,
Hmm.
and I expected it to be, not so good. But it turns out that, hey, maybe I was playing certain things right, and I was, recovering right, and giving my body the rest that it needed. And that's something I did a lot more this year too. Was remind myself it's not always more, 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 and that goes with everything.
Yeah.
It goes with everything. It's this is I've been competing for 16 years, so this is if you want to make it last that long, you got to take care of your body. That's for sure.
And I think blood testing, especially in the sport of bodybuilding, the longevity, the overall health aspect, um, can't stress how important it is.
Right. Because there's hopefully there's life after bodybuilding.
Yeah.
That's for everybody that competes. So I always keep that in the back of my head when I'm making decisions, and I realize I'm you know not a top Olympian, so I don't have to be as hard on myself, but I just love staying in shape and
Yeah.
inspiring others. I train a bunch of clients. I've got some online coaching people, so I always like to lead by example.
And now you do, Bartley. I know you do that. And I want to get your advice on this. What would your biggest tip? I'm sure I asked you this 3 years ago, but I always love asking this question. What would your biggest tip be for someone who's looking to get into fitness, looking to get into the gym for the first time? Be
Okay. I think I think that you should go after something that you're curious about, something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's where a lot of people burn out in this fitness game, where maybe they jump into the deep end a little too fast, and maybe they get a little intimidated. Maybe they don't have the knowledge to use the equipment, you know. But what I suggest is, finding somebody to go with. Maybe if you don't want to go by yourself, go with a friend that knows more than you do. That's what I've always tried to do, is surround myself with people that knew more than me. I don't want to be the smartest. I don't want to be the best in the room. I'm going to strive for it. But realistically, you want to surround yourself with, you know, good people that know what they're talking about and can help guide you and encourage you. Relationships are the currency of the kingdom. So, we need to we're better together than we are alone, so find a battle buddy, get in the gym with someone, because that's going to motivate you. If you
Yeah.
if you don't have any motivation, go with a friend that's motivated. I guarantee you're not going to slump around too long. Put a little pep in your step.
I'm sure if I trained with Derek Lunsford, I'd be pretty motivated.
Well, I was just, you know, even when the celebrity trainers are coming in, and I'm just honored to be there. So there's no way I would give anything less than 100%. I, you know, I want to give it. Not everybody gets that chance.
Yeah.
So I've got some sets on my phone, that I've got saved. That it's just like, if somebody wants to know, how to train hard. I got some clips, where I would literally, I told Chris Cormier before we locked into the Lion Lake Girls, I said, Chris, I love you, but kill me.
And that's what sets you apart because you are a warrior. Before I ask my staple question, what would you say is more important, diet or exercise? And the reason I ask, I've heard so many different views on this. Which one would you say is more important?
Well, I think if you could line out your diet, you're going to see changes a little bit faster.
Mhm.
But I think, really to bust through the next level, your training has to separate you from everybody else. And you've got to learn the mechanics, and you got to set the ego to the side, and you've got to work on, start with lower weight, work your way up with good form. If you can't hold that form, then hey, maybe it's not time to go up yet. But I was actually thinking about this week, Teddy. Um, I was like, man, you know what? I was like, training is so important, and I think training gets the short end of the stick sometimes, because people are always talking about diet this and diet that. But do you realize how many calories you can burn if you go in there and freaking kill it? You can go in there and you can actually build muscle on the weak parts that you don't like about your body. You can't do that with diet. So it's hard for me to say, it's easy, Most people say diet, but if you don't have the hardcore training, you're not going to get the hardcore results that you're probably after.
There, you heard it. Clip that. That's the answer. Now, the
Yeah.
final question for you is this, and I got to go back 3 years to see what you said on this answer. What has been your biggest underdog moment in your life where everything was stacked against you? You kind of overcame and did your thing.
Uh, well, my greatest comeback, and I equate comebacks with underdog moments.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, it was when I was on the Titan Games.
Mhm.
Going in. If I lost the next event, I was going home, and it disappointed my family and friends and everybody that came out to watch. And this was 3 weeks after a hamstring tear too, at the combine for the Titan Games. So I was beat up, and I was down 0-1 against Matt Chan, who ended up winning the whole show.
Mhm.
He was like number 2 in the CrossFit Games one year. Like, he's a CrossFit stud.
Yeah.
Well, he climbed the ladder on the lunar impact. It's 2 stories up. You got to climb the ladder on each side. There's a half moon like this, and there's a wall in the middle. He comes up like a spider monkey and starts pushing that wall before I'm even up the ladder. And as soon as I get up the ladder, I just got to give a big football shoulder into it and just try to stick it. And my foot got to the very end of the platform, bro. And I dug in, and I was like, man, I can't go out like this. And that was my greatest. I still say that's my greatest athletic performance of all time, and it was the toughest thing I ever did. I mean, The Rock was checking my pulse after it was over. They said I had a 200 heart rate.
I
I mean,
remember watching.
it took like 23 minutes. On the show, it only showed like 3 or 4 minutes of it, but it was like a 23-minute drag out. And I remember getting halfway through. It took me like 15 minutes to get the wall back to where it started. I'm like, are you kidding me now? I got to go the same distance again. And I looked down just like exhausted. I was just like, whew. I looked down at The Rock and locked eyes with him. And he said, "You got this."
Wow.
And I was like, ah. It was like turned Dragon Ball Z moment. It just caught flames, bro. And I just dug in, and I'm like, man, if you can't get fired up with your family and The Rock pulling for you, then
You're
something's wrong with you.
damn right. And I'm putting that clip in this bio because that is probably the biggest comeback I've ever seen in a sport event, whatever you call it. That was calves down 3-1 kind of stuff right there, Bartley. That was the real deal. Now, Bartley, it's always a pleasure talking with you. Before we go, the floor is yours. Where can we find your content? Where can we find Teeth Fuel? You mentioned on the website. Are you promoting anything new? What's that all like?
Well, I don't know how soon you'll have this up, but we have the Labor Day sale going on right now, tfuelsubs.com. But you can always hit the link in my bio on Instagram, and it's going to pop up all my links for you.
Okay.
So it's Dreamweaver IV on Instagram. On there, you'll find my coaching, dreamweaverfit.com, my supplements, tfuelsubs.com. And now we got extremeatingchampionships.com. So you'll be able to get on there and get some merch and check out where the circus is coming to next.
Hey, check that out. And you know what? We'll drop this video this week because the Labor Day sale is going on, and you don't want to miss that. Check out all that stuff. Bartley, again, a pleasure, honor, and a privilege. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Until next time, the competitive eater, bodybuilder, and the